troopresource.org, trying to put 1,000 skills into every troop's backpack.
Okay, so the Court of Honor, I had one question about how this is scheduled and what it actually will look like. So the Court of Honor, it's important to remember, is for the Eagle Scout. You've passed your board of review, you've done a great job, and now it's time to be recognized. It's like any other Court of Honor that you would have for any other rank, but it's more. It's something that is the pinnacle, really, of your scouting career. And so it really should be all about the Eagle Scout, and it should be planned and carried out by the troop and parents. So it can't just be the unit that dictates how it happens, and it can't just be the parent, but you have to kind of have a meeting of the minds. My troop has a very scripted Court of Honor. It doesn't have too much leeway as far as flexibility. But if you read the Guide to Advancement, it really says that there is no required format. But I would say you really have to consider troop traditions, and there are always things that, I've gone to every one of the units in my district and several of the Court of Honors in other districts as well. Everyone does them a little differently. But that's not to say that if a scout absolutely insists, I want to try something different, that you dismiss that categorically. It is really something that recognizes that scout. What we do in my unit, as far as the scout's real input, is that there's obviously an Eagle charge, and then the scout responds to that. So the scout is expected to have a short speech. It's not a long speech, but it's something where I've seen everything that you can imagine as far as the different characters of young men that can come through your organization. But anyway, there is no set way of doing it. Banquets are certainly not required. In my troop, we have people that don't have a lot of money as well as some that do, and so we do not require anything after the actual ceremony that requires a lot of food and a lot of money, as far as having it be a wedding reception. It's not really supposed to be that way. Some people like to have a big party afterwards and put a lot of food out, but that's not absolutely required. There are some online resources, eaglescout.org, the National Eagle Scout Association also has some examples, some documents that tell you different formats that have been used. You can Google it and see all different types of courts of honors out there. Things to consider: who to invite. Public officials are not required to invite, but remember what Kevin was talking about. It's really good to get non-scouters involved, particularly if there's somebody that you vote for that appreciates what's going on in the community. And politicians and public officials like to come to these things and give out citations and actually participate in something that is one of those feel-good moments in their districts. So we try to invite public officials when possible. The date and time to accommodate special guests. We have a lot of guys who get their Eagle Scout award right before they're off to college. So obviously, if they're not going to college locally and they're at some college out of state, you don't want to schedule the Court of Honor when they're miles away from home. If they're local and that sort of thing, then that's fine, but you have to consider all those things, not only as far as the Eagle, but also his family and relatives that may want to come. Hopefully will. Agenda, location, reception decorations, refreshments. This is really all how you want to do it, and there's really no prescribed format to this. As far as some of these things that you see here, letters, certificates, citations from public officials, we really, in my unit, go out of our way to contact everybody that you can imagine as far as getting some of these accommodations. Every public official, every government agency, if you just write a letter to them, and we always try to give them enough notice so that the accommodations and citations come back by the Court of Honor, so you usually want to send these letters out 2 months in advance. So that obviously is probably going to be, before or at least at the same time as the board review. But as soon as you know that board review has happened, send those letters out. Start planning for the Court of Honor. The Court of Honor may take longer than that. There's no set time after you get your Eagle as far as when that Court of Honor can take place. You can get your Court of Honor when it's convenient to set that up, but send those letters out to public officials, to the president, to anybody that you can think of. All of them have on their websites who to contact as far as sending out those letters of accommodation. And I know the person that's responsible for that in my troop, they sent out about 85 requests for every scout. Not all of them come back, but most of them do. So you actually, in my Court of Honor, you have a book, a binder that's as thick as the Eagle binder with just all these accommodations. And we usually have one of the state representatives come to our courts of honor, and they actually have a citation, and this is the big joke. They always say that this is the best citation you'll ever get. It's not going to be a traffic ticket, and it's also something where in the State House in Harrisburg, it's almost always, and I've never heard it be otherwise, unanimous approval for both sides of the aisle as far as they are citing this Eagle Scout for accomplishing this, and they want to have the information as far as what the Eagle Project was and their leadership responsibility. So this is something that they hand the scout at the Court of Honor, a citation saying your name was recognized at the courthouse in Harrisburg. Eagle Scout recognition. So after the Court of Honor is finished, oftentimes you're not finished because we have a lot of things. Obviously, this is what you get at your Court of Honor, the recognition kit. This is what comes back from National. So it has the medal, the patch, and pins that you can hand out as far as not only the father's pin and the mother's pin, but there's a mentor's pin. So this is something where, again, there is some guidance from National as far as how you should award a mentor's pin, but it's usually something that's made a difference in the Scouts' progress and life as an Eagle Scout that helped them earn that rank and achieve that. So in our troop, a lot of times they'll give it to their father, but it doesn't have to be. I know Kevin's got a lot of mentor pins because he's the person that really is responsible for kind of tracking and getting people ready to get to their Eagle boards of review. So there's another thing that we really have a big tradition in our council, which is called the Eagle Recognition Dinner. This is an annual event, but this is something that's a free event for all of the Eagle Scouts in a given year. Last year we had 327 Eagle Scouts in the Greater Liberty Council, and they contributed over 55,000 hours of community service. So this is just one way that we recognize those Eagle Scouts each year. Parents have to pay, but there's another part of this Eagle Scout Recognition Dinner where people like myself, and I think Kevin may have done this before, serve as Eagle mentors at the Eagle Dinner, and they pair up every Eagle Scout with somebody that is in the profession or career that Eagle said that they want to pursue. So I'm a scientist. I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, so I have a lot of people that are interested in chemistry or biochemistry or molecular biology or something that always sit at my table, and I mentor them and talk to them for the dinner as far as what happens in that career. And before they even go to college, they have at least a couple hours with me where I can say, you want to really think of this course or that sort of thing that you would do in college. And I happen to be a person that hires summer interns. So if you're really serious about this, come see me when it's ready to, get a job, at least to try out this profession that you say that you want as your career. It's a great event. I really highly recommend this. We don't have all 327 or however many Eagles each year attend this, but I really recommend this for everybody. We really want to salute this accomplishment. All the scouts in the room today, I know that you are excellent young men. This is something that will really make a difference in your life to earn the Eagle Scout rank.